Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with the daily technical update. It is the 23rd of July and we'll just have a quick look at CrowdStrike again after another massive sell-off of 13-14% and touched the support at 261.80. There's still risk down. There's risk down to around 238 level where we have some support. It's really heavy at the moment. There's still companies around the world, especially airline industry. Delta really is still hard hit by this errant software update that they released a few days ago. So really some trouble for CrowdStrike. Cybersecurity company here. There might be some lawsuits or something. Just a quick look at Tesla. We have earnings in the aftermarket later today. Tesla, well, it actually formed this top and reversal pattern, but it didn't follow through. I want to see it a close below 231.30. Key support in this area where we have this little gap here that could lead to a sell-off down to 218, possibly 210. But RSI is still showing positive sentiment. There's no divergence, indicating we could see higher highs on Tesla in coming weeks. But it could all be changed later tonight. Also a quick look, which is a bit unusual that I will do free, but so many earnings at the moment. SAP, in German SAP company, the IT company, new all-time highs after better than expected earnings, jumping strongly this morning, 6+%. And I don't have a target on it. I haven't analyzed it that much. But if I can keep this gap here from this morning, well, then we are in for even higher levels, and it looks fairly strong at the moment. So expect higher levels on SAP the coming days. If it should cancel this bullish move there, then it needs to close the gap from this morning. In the US equity markets in general, the S&P 500 bounced a little bit yesterday, 1%. If it can get back above 5,576, maybe it can resume uptrend. But as we can see, there's been some RSI divergence indicating it was actually a top we saw. So we could be caught here range bound, also depending on all the earnings. So expect some volatility in coming weeks. Key support 5,447, Nasdaq 100. We have also a little bit of bounce, key support, this gap area here, 19,200 is the really key support. EUROSTOXX 50 that bounced from the key support around 4,800, just above 4,800, 4,819, back above 4,888. This level here is really key, and this gap area is really key for EUROSTOXX 50. I think we are still under pressure. We are below 55 and 100 moving average, so be cautious. And in this range, we can see a lot of volatility without direction. It really needs to get back above 5,000 to have any meaningful upside potential. DAX, almost the same picture. Really need to get back above the 18,630. But then we have some stronger resistance up here, 18,892. So really we are direction at the moment. This little spike down here was, I think, was a technical area from the price server. AX Amsterdam 919 needs to close above. If it does, well, then we're looking at 930. If it can get back about 930, well, that there's more upside potential. It's probably mostly down to ASML at the moment. Key support here just below 900. The CAC is still caught range bound in this range here, and I don't expect it to be broken until there's more certainty about the political situation in France. The SMI Switzerland, well, it did close below here at the 12,181, but it is holding on still nicely, so I wouldn't put too much in it. I would actually say this is the key support, 12,151, because that was the highest close of this sideways trading here. So if it breaks below, well, then we'll see likely to see a sell. Moving on to euro dollar. Still a little bit weak here after this bullish move last week. I think we still see a correction down to around 108.50, 108.40 before we see the uptrend to resume. We have all moving averages rising, so we should see a push higher here in the coming weeks or so. Euro sterling stockling around the 84.25. A little bit slow here, sorry about that. 84.25 resistance area and the 38.2 retracement. Can't really get away from it. If it starts sliding lower, we'll expect another pressure lower for euro sterling cable. We have also a correction here, possibly down to 128.80. Could dip a little bit lower, but the uptrend is clear, but we need a correction after this really strong upwards move there. Dollar yen pausing, well, we are a little bit down again today, but it's also because it ended nicely towards the end yesterday. So maybe another test, but it really needs to take out 155.35. And I did a written article yesterday. You can check that one out. It is out on all four yen pairs that are followed: dollar yen, euro yen, Aussie yen, and sterling yen. Dollar yen needs to get back above 157.86 for potential uptrend establishment. Euro yen, we have another pressure. We did it yesterday. Let's see now today. Maybe it means business this time. 169.98. If it breaks below that, doesn't have to close below. If it breaks below that, then we are looking at 169.20, the 786 retracement, and the rising trend line here is likely to be tested. It's not unlikely we could drop lower though, so don't bottom facing down there. I wouldn't do that. We have Aussie yen that is now below 786 retracement, 104.68. So we could see it trading towards 103, possibly dip to these dips we have seen here back in May and June at 102.60 level. So really heavy there in a very strong bearish move. We have sterling yen also a little bit heavy this morning. 38.2 retracement, 274. I think we are likely to see it at the 200 level, 200.90 if we are calculating from this uptrend here. The other one is from this uptrend. It's explained more in detail in my written article. We could see a sell-off down to around 200 in this area here in coming days and weeks possibly. Aussie dollar, really a big correction that is going on there. The Aussie dollar currently at the 786 retracement at the 66.25. I think it will bounce from here, but it is not unlikely, to be honest, that it could dip a little bit lower, but then we have the moving averages to 100 and 200 coming up, giving a little bit of a support. But it is a bigger correction than actually anticipated, but it has been a massive sell-off. I would expect a little bit of a bounce shortly. Dollar Canada is finally on the move. Very close to be testing 137.85 resistance. And if it does close above, well, then there's potential up to 138.46, possibly high 138.5. The EURUSD, not much to say really. It's just basically trading around the 38.2 retracement at 96.60. Not really doing much. So wait for breakout of this range here. We have at 97 to the upside and 96.40 to the downside. Dollar Swiss also not that much to report, to be honest. It is fairly unchanged after the bounce. It needs to break below these lows here at 88.20 or continue further in bounce. My money, not that I'm invested, is that we are bouncing a little bit higher here in the coming days towards 89.40 maybe. But then I think a downtrend will resume. And finally, the dollar index, when we're talking about FX, well, then we are still in a bouncing mode, just below the 200 moving average. I think we could spike up to the resistance here at 104.26, 104.28. Gold seems to be finding some support around 23.87 level. I think it can still dip down to 23.66, which is the 61.8 retracement of this uptrend here. We are in a bullish trend. There is positive sentiment on the RSI, and if it starts bouncing off these supports here, I think we could see another push towards 2450, possibly also towards 2500. Silver, on the other hand, also is fairly heavy and is currently testing the key support here around 2860. It's now below the falling trend line here, so I'll say, okay, let's get rid of that one. There we are. Key support in this range here, as you can see, it's been tested many times. It's going to be interesting. Will it actually break below it? If it does, well, then we'll look at 2770, 2740 in this region here. But we have the 100 moving average coming up, giving a little bit of a support. Copper also quite heavy, so industrials does look fairly heavy, very close to the 413. I think we can deep to 410, maybe even 405. So that's a really massive sell-off. It has performed here the past few days. Ole Hansen has just published something yesterday on his Twitter. One of the reasons why it's selling off heavily. But that's what it is at the moment. We could see a little bit of a support down in this region here, which I believe we'll see. On the energy side, well, sell off in crude oil. It can't really get up there, can it? Now we are below the 50% correction. We are below 55 moving average. We are back below 200 moving average. I think we'll see a further push towards the 61.8 retracement at $77 on the WTI. It needs to get back above $81 to try to resume uptrend at least. But for now, it's actually quite heavy there, and so it's not much light sweet crude oil on it at the moment. Brent crude also below its moving averages after sell-off yesterday, the past few days. 61.8 retracement at $81 in this support area here. I would expect that to be reached within the next few days. And we have the US Treasury yields that are bouncing. Bounced to the 38.2 retracement at 427. It could bounce a little bit further towards maybe 431, maybe even 35, but that will also be it if it bounces up there. But there is some really strong, seems to be some strong resistance here. If it takes out 427.5, so 428, well, then I think we'll see it up there, but we can see 55 moving average coming down, the 200 moving average coming down, and also the 100 coming down here. So the underlying trend is bearish and also negative sentiment on the RSI. All right, that's all for today. We'll talk again tomorrow when we have some Tesla earnings to look at market reaction to that, and possibly also other companies. Have a nice day and happy trading.